Hey everybody, it's your girl Emerald the Realtor back with episode 2 of my channel. I don't have like a name yet for my channel because this is new. So, you guys, if you have a name for me, if you think you have the winner, comment down below and give me a great name for it. I'm thinking Emerald the Realtor, keep it simple. So, y'all let me know what you think. But anyway, just to get into episode 2, I got my coffee, I got my notes. And we're going to talk about today getting your license, your real estate license, in the DMV area specifically. If you are not in the DMV area, say you're located somewhere else, these are great notes for you. I don't know what your state specifically recommends, so you can definitely kind of take heed to this, but I will go and do my own research on what your specific state asks for. So to get into it, getting your license in the DMV, number one, you need 60 credit hours to become licensed, which that's pretty general knowledge, but if you didn't know, you need 60 credit hours. The class is actually really quick. I did it through Mosley, which was it's in a Century 21 building. It was off Telegraph Road in Alexandria. And the class was 12 hours a day, about 12 hours a day, for 5 days. So if you're not working right now, or if maybe you can take a week off from work, if you have some leftover PTO from 2020, that would be great to do. I feel like it's better for you, or easier, to just do it in that intense 1 week stretch, because there's so much information, you're gonna forget things. I feel like if you do it over the 2 week course or the 3 week course, so I feel like this is a really good way for you to kind of get it all in, have the information top of mind, and go straight to the exam. But if you can't, they do have options that you can spread it out. So maybe you do like a 4-hour course on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 6 hours, and then you'll just break it down, and then it'll take you that many days, or that as long as it takes to get to 60 hours. So it's really a personal preference, and kind of based on your work schedule or your schedule. So that is the first step. Like I said, I went through Mosley. There are definitely a bunch of options within the DMV area, so from DC, Maryland to Virginia, which I'll leave those in the section below, some top rated ones within the area, because you definitely want to have a good professor. When I was looking for a professor, I wanted somebody that was older, because even though sometimes old people, they old, but they are knowledge based. They have the foundations of a lot of things. So I feel like the foundation is really what you need in this real estate game, especially because once you get to studying and once you get in the course, you'll realize that a lot of the terms are old terms, like chattel, what else type stuff they have. It's old English. It's old American 1900s English. So I definitely feel like it's nice to have an older person, because some of the fair housing laws, some of these really old laws that have been implemented or were implemented due to old things that were happening, they can really explain that to you because they were in that time period growing up, if that makes sense. So I definitely liked having an older professor, and he was still an active real estate, a realtor. He had his own firm, Tom Sclopeland. He's awesome. I didn't choose to go with that brokerage, but I'll talk about that in a later video. So just to pivot back around to the classes, my class price, I paid $440. So I started, just to give you a little background, I started off on the online class. I feel like, just to get into the differences, if you're a good online learner, you don't need a lot of hand holding. You aren't maybe like a visual person. You don't need it to be laid out right in front of you. I feel like online is great. If you are not that person and you are like me, where you need structure, you need the explanation, because 9 times out of 10, this is a brand spanking new topic for you. So you're not going to understand the context. And that's what I was missing a lot in doing the online class, is the context of detached versus attached, a fixture versus a stand-away fixture. Like, there's so many differences that come up on the test that I feel like you need somebody to explain it to you, because when you're doing it online, I know for me, I was doubling back and watching Google or researching the topic or the definition on Google, to get a little bit of context. So I personally would say to go with the in-person class. Is definitely quicker, and I think you're just going to get more out of it, and you definitely probably pass the test the first time. That's a given, in my personal opinion. So again, it's all about who you are personally, your best learning style. But yeah, that's what I would say, is to go with the in-person class. So then, moving on, the next step to deciding between in-person or online. Then once you go into the class, right now it's COVID, so it shouldn't be more than 6-7 people in your class, which I really would take advantage of that right now, because you get like so much more hands-on. You can ask more questions. The professor is not like super overwhelmed with maybe the normal 12, 15 people that will be in their class. So I definitely feel like this is a good time to take advantage of the in-person. After you take your exam, you will, I say, study for a couple days. I feel like you should take your exam as soon as possible. It's a lot of information. The exam, national is 120 questions, and the state is 60 questions. Yes, I think 60. So that's a lot of information to keep on top of hand. There's a lot of numbers, dates that you need to remember. It's like little things that, can go to the back of your mind after you're done, just how they are now when I'm trying to regurgitate them to you. So I would definitely recommend going and taking that test within the week. PSI, I'm going to leave a number down to PSI for you guys to call. I found 2 numbers online. I think this number actually I seem to get through very quick. So y'all all don't pass it to everybody, because then this number ain't going to be too viable. But I'm definitely going to drop that gem for you guys down below. So check that out in the comment section or description box. Sorry, I'm new to this YouTube thing. What's next? So then you'll get your license. You'll take the exam. You will schedule the exam at your nearest PSI center. If you're in DC, I think it's through DC PLOR. And then through Maryland, it's the Maryland Real Estate Board. So depending on which state you're in, you'll call. I definitely forgot to mention this in the beginning, but DC, Maryland, Virginia all have reciprocity. You need to be eventually licensed in all 3. So I would recommend, I started out in Virginia, but I actually recommend what I wish I would have known is to start off in Maryland, because Maryland's board takes a little bit longer than Virginia and DC. DC was the quickest out of all 3, for me at least, especially in this COVID time right now. Also, Maryland has less restrictions or like guidelines if you get your license in Maryland first and then claim reciprocity for Maryland and DC and Virginia. But Virginia does not have reciprocity for Maryland, but Maryland has it for Virginia. So if you wanted to get the reciprocity for Virginia, I would say to start off in Maryland. It will make it a lot easier for you, and you might save a few bucks as well. So that's kind of a mistake that I think I made just getting into it. But it's a lot to learn. It's a lot of information, so anybody is going to make mistakes or kind of do double the work, I think, starting out in this business, because it's really something that you're learning from the ground up. But that's a little tidbit, in my opinion, where you can, go through some extra hoops, whatever you want to call it. So, and then last but not least, before I kind of wrap this up, I like to keep my videos under 10 minutes, because I know you guys don't want to listen to me talk forever. So last but not least, what I wish I would have done or wish I would have taken more from the class is definitely like linking with people in my class more, because at the end of the day, it's like most likely if you had 6 people in your class, 7 people, 4 of them are actually going to become realtors. Now you're definitely going to have some people that's not going to go forward and take their test, or after they take the test,